Hi aerial yogis, I'm Camille and welcome back to my CAMIYOGA aerial yoga channel. Welcome guys to the bow sequence for flexibility, since we include a lot of back bends and deep hip openers such as split position. And if you would like to learn more tricks and sequences, join my online courses or live courses here down in my studio in Lithuania. Other than that, let's continue. And first of all, let's see how that sequence looks like, and then we will go through the details in full. And one very important don't forget the warm-up. This is a sequence that we instantly jump in. So before that, please do some short warm-up, anything to just get your body going that you want on the strength, since there will be quite deep back bends, deep stretches through the legs and hips, so that you avoid any injury. So you can choose any warm-up here on my playlist. They are short, longer ones you can choose, and then you can continue with this sequence or warm up. And after the sequence, I would also suggest to then do cooling, something relaxing, maybe inverted position like hip hang or back straddle, or just laying in cocoon. Okay, flying yogis, so let's get started through the sequence in a slower pace and with all the details. So first of all, just spread yourself. Oh, and by the way, make sure it's around your hips, or it can be even higher for the sequence. And once you spread it out, and then we will need to wrap the silk twice and to create that bow shape. Perhaps you even remember the bow entry from before, from a previous tutorial and sequence I taught you here on the YouTube channel. You can check it over here. But in simplest way, how you can do it, just standing from here and using your hands. So you're just finding one side's front edge and wrapping it once, okay? And then wrapping it twice, so the same. And just spreading it out, that it would even. Okay, so at first it might not look very tidy, don't worry about it. What we actually in here need is that we have those two loops where you will put your feet into them, and then you would stand up. So let's try first of all this one. So you're just bringing one foot in, knee inside. Okay, so make sure you're holding the silk over that knot area, that you know it won't slide as too much when you're stepping with one foot inside. Okay, and then you're bringing the other foot inside the other loop, readjusting, and you have your bow. As you see, it all straighten up, and it's nicer when we started all wrinkled around. So this is that bow where we start the whole sequence. But if you don't want to do it from the standing on the floor, you can also do it while you're on the silk. So then in that case, let's say you will put your right foot in front of the edge, one of the edges. Then you pull yourself up, you're leaning into that right side. Then again, you will use your arm and wrap one edge around, in, and second time around, in, and readjusting. So you can do it both ways, up to you, just how you would wish to. And then you need to just readjust and press it down to realign, otherwise it will be uneven side. So pull yourself slightly up and spread it out. Okay, so my foot a little bit got stuck there. Okay, so once you got your bow, it might be a little bit different where your knot is, higher, lower. Again, it really depends where you put it out and so on and so forth. So it doesn't really matter, just make sure that the knot won't be as high as the chest, since the first position that we will do is prasita, or the forward fold in a wide angle, and you will need to do a hip hang position. So we really want that the knot won't be as high, but we could fold over, otherwise the silk will end up by a belly. It doesn't feel nice, right? Okay, so to do so, first of all, just pulling those edges a little bit lower, folding, don't go all the way, so keep pressing your belly down, but legs going to the front, readjusting, but the silk would be under the hips, not onto your belly. And then finding your toes to extend the legs, extend your spine, look towards your floor, so that really elongating your spine, okay? We won't be hunching. From this, when you're done, you're finding the silk, those inner edges from inside the 4 fingers inward, so not out, but 4 fingers in as we're doing back flip. Now you will bend your knees going together like little ball. You're bending your elbows, pulling yourself back into the bow position. So this one is very fun, right? We can try again. So go forwards. First of all, prasarita, finding your toes, ankles, whatever. Then finding the edges and flipping into the bow. My one foot a little bit missed the silk. There you go. So readjust if needed. And now if we move further in, now we're entering as if butterfly or frog pose. So you're bending your knees inside, inwards, the silk, and feet going behind you, toes touching. I turn a little bit. So toes touching, like a little bit triangle shape on each side. And then you're sliding through the inner edges, but then it will be more comfortable if you catch the outer edges. And we're entering as if scorpion pose or cobra pose. So now actively back bending through your back muscles and head reaching forward as if you want to see what's behind you. Really arching, engage your arms, slightly bend your elbows. Then, once you're done, slowly, carefully, lowering one of the arms, forearms on the floor, the other one. You'll feel that the legs are a little bit sliding inside, so that's fine, don't worry about it. Just keep the knees open, okay? Once you're on your elbows, readjust, and then you can press down your chest to a little bit stretch through the upper body while still stretching through the hips, opening up. Once you're done, we're pressing up from the floor into like scorpion variation, not really a scorpion since your legs are bent, right? But in here we're back bending, lifting your head, pressing from the floor through your shoulders while still opening those hips. And once you're done with this, handstand as a transition to exit into the lunge, low lunge. Okay, so now spread your fingers. First of all, tuck your pelvis, knees towards your belly. And now we will take the right leg, right foot. So first of all, I will turn to you, okay, that you would see what I'm doing with my foot. I'm a little bit swirling it around to find my exit. Yeah, find the exit just with the right leg. Left knee is inside the silk. And now since I got it out, I'm with control lowering down. And first of all, we're entering the lunge just to settle in. But in here, we're actually moving to the half split. So straightening the front leg, and we're lowering through the belly and chest downwards, so nose towards the knee. And then bend back into 90-degree angle from the front knee. And we're lifting into the high lunge. Now a little bit turn this way that you would see more clearly. Okay, so front knee 90-degree. The leg inside the silk is still also bent. Very deep stretch through the hips, through the hamstrings of the legs, through the hip flexors, like really, and plus very deep back bend through the upper body. So you're holding off the silk, it doesn't matter, both for one silk, we're opening the heart, and Now reaching your head towards the foot inside the silk. And if you got this one, then we're entering with a lateral, a little bit stretch of the side body to open up into variation, like a mermaid variation, you might say, or maybe adding split to go into full expression of this pose. Once you're done, bend the front knee, lift with control, release your arms, slide the silk off, and you're exiting your sequence. So now let's move to the other side and try it again. Okay, so let's unwrap the silk a little bit to even everything out. Or if you want, you can leave it. I see that mine's really turned around from all those flips. So I want to re-even it. And then either wrapping it just twice, okay? Wrapping from the standing position or while standing onto the silk. So whichever, I'm using this one because then it really makes more edges equal, you know, if I'm concentrating on this sequence particularly. So pushing, pulling yourself in, finding the other foot, readjusting if needed, checking where my knot is, and we can start our bow sequence from here. Very beautiful shape itself, this basic shape, but it's really effective with how hammock rates it. Okay, so breathing in, breathing out, find the edges, readjust under the hips, and start with prasarita or wide angle stretch with the back of the hips and legs, looking towards the ground. Then find the inner edges flipping and pulling yourself in, back to bow. Then bending your knees in and out to open up really through the inner hips and thighs. Slide the edges with control. Then find the outer edges and slightly engage your elbows, your arms, back bending, looking behind, really push the chest forward, but shoulder blades backwards. Once you're done, slowly lower one arm, then the other arm. You will feel that the whole pelvis and thighs sliding and turning, tilting downwards. That's fine. Just feel always the silk around your upper thighs here, okay, by the hips, by the glutes. And once you settle in, first of all, we're a little bit catching the breath, right? So just stretching as if puppy pose. Release your head. You can work your arms as forward as much as you want. Maybe even swirling through your hips a little bit from side to side into this deep stretch from the front upper body, man. Putting your chin on the mat, so whichever works for you. Now coming up again on your elbows, breathing in, push the floor, and we're walking a little bit back into that scorpion variation. Really press the floor that you won't collapse into your shoulders. Look up, stretching deeply, especially through the lower back. And once you're done, now we move to the handstand. So tuck your pelvis, look in between your hands. Now we are removing our left foot. So while you're in a handstand, you can swirl around with your foot to find the exit. Mine's a little bit lost. Okay, I found my exit. And once you got your foot out a little bit, with control, still holding your handstand, slowly lowering down with the foot on the floor. First of all, into the lunges that you would readjust, and then we entering half split first of all, where the front leg straight, the back leg is bent, and we really want to glue the belly towards the thigh, nose towards the knee, stretching and leaning backwards. Very deep pose. One more breath in, breathing out, bending your knee, and now we're entering that lunge. So the other foot is a little bit sticking out. It's bent. First of all, slowly coming up, using your back muscles. They should really heat up. We'll turn this way. Okay, so once you out, my foot is hiding. And you really should feel already that you are really deeply back bending and opening your heart So front knee is still 90 degree, as well as a 90 degree in the back leg, which is like a stag leg. Very nice pose. And then lean back, opening your heart. So lift it first and then lean back, okay? So create a little bit space. So head towards your foot inside the sill. I will just move around that it would be more clear what I'm doing. So the goal is to reach for the crown. And you can also add that sort of like bind, right? So you're reaching for that knee. You can also try to find the foot with the other arm. A lot of things we can create, all kinds of shapes from this one. And the full expression would be when we're straightening the front leg as well, while doing same shapes with the hands. Here, maybe both hands over. And once you're done with this, bending the knee, slowly coming up, so not rigid motion, releasing your arms, releasing your leg. You can a little bit relax into tabletop, still having this both separate sides, just hands into the separate sides and maybe swinging around, releasing the deep back bend that you just did into opposite direction, which is more like forward fold. And plus, when we swing from side to side, you add lateral stretch, which also brings the spine into neutral. So it's good to do some break in between the sides, or even if you're planning it to do as a full flow. So now, since you got all the details, what I'm doing in here in the sequence, try to connect all those poses together and try to do it in more fluid motion, with one breath, one movement, as I showed you in the demo video in the beginning of this class, okay? So now it's your homework to work on this. And let me know how you enjoyed this bow, a little bit sad bow now, how you enjoyed this bow sequence. Hope you liked it. Like to explore these poses all together. And then, as always, I'll see you in my other classes, maybe online courses, live courses here in the studio in Lithuania, or, you know, somewhere in the flying experience. So see you soon, guys. Bye.